Luka Doncic in a Lakers jersey. Let that sink in for a second. Yeah, we're still not over it either. On February 2nd, 2025, the NBA world flipped upside down when the Dallas Mavericks, for reasons that still don't make a whole lot of sense, traded away their franchise superstar, the face of their team, the guy who dropped 60, 20, 10 like it was nothing, Luka Doncic, to the Los Angeles Lakers of all teams. And ever since that trade, everything has changed. The Lakers? They've gone 19-12 since adding Luka. They're third in the West. They've got that "we're scary now" look again. How about the Mavericks? Well, they kind of fell off a cliff. They're 10th in the West. Kyrie's out with a torn ACL. And Nico Harrison? Let's just say he's not getting invited to any parades in Dallas.
And they'll clinch a play-in. The Lakers still can land anywhere from...
Now, if you ask the Mavs front office why they made the trade, they'll give you the usual PR spin. We didn't want to commit to a supermax contract for Luka, or his conditioning and defense weren't championship caliber. Okay, sure, that sounds reasonable. If you completely ignore the fact that Luka is a generational talent who literally gave Dallas basketball its identity for half a decade. So of course, nobody's buying that explanation. And naturally, this has become a conspiracy theorist's dream. Was it about Vegas? Was it personal beef? Was Luka too chill for the front office? Did he secretly want to leave? We're diving deep into the top 5 conspiracy theories behind the most shocking trade of the season. Some of them are wild, some of them might actually be true, and one of them just might make you scream into the void. Let's start with the biggest, boldest theory. What if this whole trade was never about basketball at all? Alright, here's the first theory, and honestly, it's the one that sounds the most like a plot straight out of Succession. What if the Luka Doncic trade wasn't about basketball? What if it was about casinos? Yup, casinos. When the Adelson and Dumont families took over the Mavericks in 2023, a lot of people celebrated. New owners, fresh energy, maybe a big plan to bring a championship to Dallas, right? Well, turns out the only big plans they had were for a massive casino resort right in Dallas. But here's the twist, the plan failed. The community pushed back. The Texas government didn't budge on gambling laws. And the dream of building a Vegas-style empire in Dallas hit a wall. So what do you do when you can't bring Vegas to your team? You move your team to Vegas. Sounds insane, but hear me out. Tank the team, trade your star, kill attendance, then claim, hey, Dallas just isn't a basketball market anymore. And then what? Welp, we tried. Guess we gotta pack up and take the team somewhere that wants us, like, oh, I don't know, Las Vegas. It's the same playbook we've seen before. Lower interest, lose games, make fans miserable, and then cry poor. So let's connect the dots. Vegas billionaires buy the team, they try to legalize gambling in Texas and fail, they lose interest in the team's success. They trade their only superstar, now the team is bad and attendance is dropping, starting to look less like coincidence and more like a plan. Could Luka have just been the first domino? Maybe, maybe not. But you can't deny this theory doesn't sound so crazy anymore. And the worst part? If it's true, Luka never even had a chance. His fate in Dallas might have been sealed the moment that casino plan died. Still think this trade was about basketball? So here's a question. What if this whole trade didn't come down to business, or basketball, or Vegas? What if Luka Doncic got traded because his boss didn't like the way he partied? Welcome to the Hookah Luka theory. It goes something like this. Mavs GM Nico Harrison, a man who worships the Kobe Bryant grind set, didn't vibe with Luka's off-court lifestyle. This is a guy who's all about the work. No distractions, no fun, just 24-hour basketball. And Luka? Well, he likes to unwind. Is he obsessed with basketball the way Kobe was? Maybe not. But is he one of the most gifted players on the planet, even when he's rocking a dad bod and a buzz? Absolutely. And yet, all that wasn't enough for Nico Harrison. According to reports, the Mavs front office didn't just have concerns. They actively hated seeing photos of Luka with a beer in one hand and a hookah hose in the other. Like we're still in 1955 and your point guard has to run wind sprints in the snow to prove he's committed. Newsflash. NBA players are allowed to have lives, but not in Dallas, apparently. Harrison looked at Luka and saw someone who didn't fit his version of the ideal franchise player. So instead of talking to him, instead of building around him, he shipped him to Los Angeles, where the hookah probably hits even better. And now Luka is thriving in LA. 19-12 since the trade, MVP level numbers, looking happier than ever. Meanwhile, Dallas? Dead in the water. Nico Harrison's job security? Hanging by a thread. Nico! All because he couldn't handle a little smoke. If this theory's true, it wasn't a business decision. It wasn't a cap space issue. It was ego. One man trying to mold Luka into someone he's not. And when that didn't work, he hit the eject button. The Mavericks didn't trade Luka Doncic because they wanted to. They did it because they thought he was going to leave first. This theory paints Nico Harrison as a man trying to get ahead of the storm. Like a coach pulling the goalie before the other team even shoots. Like a poker player folding pocket aces because he feels the river card coming. We've seen the trend. Superstar not happy? Boom, trade request, Instagram wiped, cryptic tweets, and suddenly the front office is in chaos. So maybe Nico saw the signs. Maybe he thought Luka was about to do the same. Maybe he figured, better to trade him now on our terms than lose him later on his terms. Except, there's one massive problem with this theory. There's zero evidence Luka wanted out. The man literally just built a mansion in Dallas. He was publicly talking about wanting to finish what he started. He loved the city. He loved the fans. There was no trade request, no drama, no bad vibes. He wasn't tweeting Drake lyrics or leaking quotes to WOJ. If anything, Luka was one of the few superstars who wasn't trying to bail. So if Nico Harrison actually believed Luka was plotting his exit behind closed doors, that's not foresight, that's paranoia. And even if Luka was gonna leave, this was the best you could get in return. An aging all-star with a medical chart thicker than War and Peace. No future cornerstone, no franchise reset, just scraps, spare parts. This theory only works if you believe Nico Harrison had no choice, that he was backed into a corner. But from where most of us are sitting, it looks like he imagined the corner and ran headfirst into it anyway. If this was a preemptive strike, it missed the target entirely. And the only thing it really destroyed was the Mavericks' future. In the end, maybe it's not about basketball, not about Luka's defense, not about hookah, not even about Nico Harrison's competence. Maybe it's about something way bigger, money. When the Adelson and Dumont families bought the Mavericks back in 2023, it wasn't because they grew up dreaming of Dirk and Nash. It was business. These families made their fortunes in Vegas. They are the Las Vegas Sands Corporation. And for them, owning an NBA team wasn't about basketball. It was about leverage. They wanted gambling legalized in Texas. Casinos, resorts, that kind of empire-building stuff. Owning the Mavericks? That was their golden ticket. Build a casino in Dallas. Turn the team into a live attraction. Make billions. But then, the dream fell apart. Local communities pushed back. Lawmakers said no. The casino resort plan was dead on arrival. And suddenly, the Mavericks were just a basketball team. Not a stepping stone. Not a golden goose. Just an expensive, mid-tier, luxury tax-paying roster in a league that doesn't forgive bad contracts. Luka was about to become very expensive. The Supermax deal coming this offseason? That's over $70 million per year. Throw in Kyrie and you're looking at a payroll deep in the red. With no gambling profits to cushion the blow, the owners had a decision to make. Do we commit to winning? Or do we get lean, cut costs, and maybe, just maybe, move the team? Think about it. You tank the team, attendance drops, TV ratings plummet. Then you go to the league and say, hey, Dallas just isn't working. But Vegas is calling. And suddenly the Mavs, or whatever's left of them, are the next great Sin City franchise. Trading Luka wasn't just about basketball. It was about clearing the books, draining the hype, and setting the stage for something colder. This wasn't a trade. It was a checkmate move in a bigger game. A business decision disguised as a basketball one. So if you're still wondering why this trade feels so wrong, it's because it was never meant to feel right. Luka Doncic didn't ask for this. Dallas didn't deserve this. But sometimes the truth is simpler than any conspiracy theory. It's not about loyalty. It's not about legacy. It's about money and the people who will burn down a franchise just to chase more of it. We've looked at the conspiracies. We've broken down the theories. We've followed the money, the smoke, and even the hookah. But when you zoom out, when all the noise dies down, here's what's left. Dallas lost its soul. For 5 seasons, Luka Doncic was the Mavericks, the heir to Dirk's legacy, the hope of a franchise that hadn't mattered since 2011. The kind of player cities dream about and only get once, and they gave him away. Whether it was Vegas, whether it was money, whether it was bad management or pure stupidity, the result is the same. Luka is gone. He's in a Lakers jersey now. Still great, still brilliant, but something's missing, because greatness only means something when it's earned together. You don't just trade a generational player. You build around them. You sacrifice to keep them. You don't pull the plug at 25 years old because he smoked hookah or didn't sprint every defensive possession. You don't torch a city's dream because your casino plan didn't work out. You don't do that unless you never cared in the first place. Luka Doncic wasn't the problem. He was the gift, and Dallas might never forgive itself for letting him go.